in.
Hey, happy New
Hey,
Year! Happy New
happy New
Year!
Year.
Everything
Long
is
time no see,
somewhere.
everyone. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So we had our last show was the retro show. That was nice. Now we are starting off again. We don't have a guest for this particular start off show, but that's okay because we just want to get started on a, how do we say it, our relaxed basis. We want to start the year off nice and easy.
Nice and
Is,
easy. Yeah.
are we all easy? I already have an assignment. I'm already billing, like, coming up. So I imagine you're also busy too. So it's like, this is very interesting. Everyone's worried about how things are going on. May you be billing as soon as possible. Those folks that are out there
Yes.
being busy. All right. And then if something's going on, remember, if you're in this particular tech, there's always something somewhere. Do not be dissuaded. Do not give up.
And
Get
an article that I just
oh
was reading recently about quiet hiring.
oh
Gartner is saying that really this is the year of consultants.
oh. Let me go share that really quick. So we're going to start off
Yeah.
with this
They
particular
don't
piece over here.
they don't talk about it a lot. I mean, we ended the year looking at salaries and things like that. Um, this article goes into to talk about the idea of quiet hiring, and it's about moving you from possibly adding skills
Uh
to
huh.
your workforce without necessarily hiring full-time employees. And there are a
Oh dear.
couple of ways they go about it. One is, you take people that you already have and train them and move them. Another, though, is consulting and bringing in outside experts and letting them sort of form the nucleus of a new team. And
Mm-hmm.
that you know we both worked on a lot of migration projects and a lot of
Yes.
new tech companies that were new to a technology that would bring us in really to be those kind of mentors, those Sherpas to kind
Yes.
of show the path.
Exactly. So,
I mean, if
I usually make it a point to say, remember, for sometimes for some of this tech that you're doing, unless you're an actual tech company,
right,
or a consulting firm is actually doing this, you're essentially competing with those companies to fill in your spots. So if you're like doing something regular, you're in the medical, you're doing retail, you're doing something else, and you need the IT types or the dev types to do work for you. It's like, well, where do you think would they want to? Would those folks like to work maybe in that? Maybe is there some folks that like that? It's like, well, I like to be a computer person, but I like to do it in my dear love retail or my dear love
right,
auto or something like that. It's like, well, okay, that could happen, right? But in some cases, though, it's mostly the tech for the tech's sake. A lot of folks that are
yes,
doing this, it's like, and they want a challenge or they want something different, and they don't want to say stick to necessarily a just the same thing over and over. They like to improve. They have their ideas and where they want to go. And of course, the final big one is like they want to make the big bucks because they hear their friends making the big bucks, and they're like,
well, and Ralph,
uh,
you know as well as I do how many peers that we've had that started out doing something else and ended up
yes,
getting into tech because they were the only person in the office that knew how it worked and
exactly.
started doing it that way. And that's part of what this quiet hiring is about as well,
Yes,
is people transitioning internally from job to job and really filling some of those tech roles. But it's if your SOW ended on the 31st,
hmm,
like mine did,
yep,
I'm building on something else already. But
right.
uh, end of year, that this is a tough time for consultants. So
This
we're
is
here,
true.
we're with you.
Exactly, it's very true. So, in a lot of these cases, for example, like, again with on the consultant forums, we have that's the part that we have to deal with. It's like that little
Yes.
transition, end of years, end of anyone's fiscal. If there's like a fiscal going on, that tends to be also a problem. But yep, they got to deal with that now. The idea of, because I think, remember, even what I was talking about, the low code platforms or the things that
Hmm.
become easier. And another reason for this show is to show that a lot of the things we talk about, as much as we get nerdy about it, is actually accessible, right? There's
Yes.
folks, regular folks can actually make use of these items. And
Right.
because of that, save the tech for the tech, and then save the actual, we're going to actually get something done, and I'm going to use my skills of what needs to be done to be applied to it. That's the idea over here, to get upskilled, to move your way. If all of a sudden you decide to do something else, I mean, why I'm doing computer stuff, I am the actual guy that was like, I was actually good at it. and that's not
Hmm.
exactly what I went to school for, or thought I was going to follow up with, or thought I was going to be famous for at all. It just happened to be that way. But as they say, just from doing it over and over, and a lot of it's like I just happen to be the nicer person than say the actual IT people. I mean, that made a big
Well, there's
difference. Like,
that too. More accessible. Yeah.
yeah,
No,
so
that's always
the
a good way.
actual IT people are like, well, why didn't you do this? Versus me, it's like, oh wow, yeah, that's a problem here. Let me help. Sometimes just that little stuff, I may not know as much, but at least I'm nicer about it. And that can make a humongous difference. And then, of course,
Oh,
and here's the thing: success begets success. I like to say,
yes.
you do it. Someone asks you for help. All right, you don't know as much as, like, say, the person that really knows, and they're like, "Arr, arr," and they're going to charge and they're going to do all this stuff. Well, but they keep asking me. I may not know as much, but I sort of at least get them past. And then they ask again because I'm a nice guy. They ask again. Then they ask again, ask again. After so many tries, eventually my skill level from just doing it is going to catch up quickly with the one that's basically ossified in their skill in their area, unless they're
Mhm.
also doing the same thing, iterating through their stuff. I always say, like, teachers learn more than students. Unless they're ossified in what they're doing, then someone's going to catch up. At some point,
Yes.
it's not like the folks that are coming up are clawing their way. The so-called people climbing the corporate ladders are not trying to step on each other necessarily. The ones that I think are more successful at it, or at least really gain the most, are the ones that are
Yes.
actually nice about it. So,
Exactly. Yes.
um,
Well, and reach down to pull somebody else up. We talk about Sherpas and climbing and all of that. It's not a race,
that's
right?
right.
It's not a zero sum game. No one has to lose in order for you to win.
That's true. I
So,
mean, and there right now, and I will say there is enough going on out there. And here's
oh,
my favorite thing is, like, the more people want to automate, the more they have to hire to be able to make that happen, because they want to automate because they want to fire some people. Maybe it's like, well, you realize you got to hire people to be able to fire those people. I said, yeah. Did you realize you're going to have to hire even more expensive people to let go of the less expensive people, and then you can't let go of those more expensive people because you're going to need them to run the show.
to
Um,
maintain it and to change it, and
Wait a
yeah.
minute. Could we have just upskilled the less expensive people? Yeah, maybe that
Mhm.
would have worked. That's again another
And
reason to follow
again,
through.
back to this article when they're talking about upskilling, and it's
Yeah.
you know it's a now's a good time to be doing it. To be honest, I mean, if you're out there and especially if you're between contracts, spend some time on yourself, right? Um,
Yes.
Take some time away, decompress, but also spend some time and energy on upskilling.
A
Uh,
good idea also, if you're like, right now sitting on of some offers, people asking you, hey, would you like to be with us and all that stuff, ask them about. Sometimes they'll have the package that says, well, we offer you the ability to keep upskilling yourself or to keep doing it. It's included, it's free. Some like big partners will have like free Microsoft certification, or partner training, or things like that. Not
yes.
just Microsoft, but also AWS absolutely has it. Amazon definitely has a big program for that. Google, I'm
Yes.
pretty sure, and a lot of the other ones as well will have similar programs. And this is the idea. It's like to say, well, are those programs accessible to me? Will you give me time to do it?
Hmm.
I think I'm not sure if it's, well, I have to think about this, whether it's public knowledge or not. I do know that one of the big cloud firms out there, I won't say who it is, but what they will do, for example, is they will actually, uh, you can actually charge them. So, for like example, for their partners, they can actually create a billing code, and they will charge the cloud partner, that cloud partner, for the time for them to actually go out and get certified. So if they spend, well, the catch is they got to spend 40 hours, like a whole week, 2 weeks, boom, straight
Right.
through. In other words, they can't bill for anything else. They're quote unquote billing for just that. At the end, they're going to get their certification and all that stuff. And they're absolutely sure that you went through the immersion program and got through the thing done. What a good idea. That
That
is
is.
actual knowledge, and you get to learn. And the folks that are really, especially when they got into this from learning and all that, wow,
Hmm.
that's really
Well,
nice. Now,
it's like a boot camp sort of, but on your own, at your own
exactly.
pace.
At
Yeah.
your own pace, and you're getting paid your billing rate. How
Yeah.
about that?
How
And
about
that
that?
means that the companies that are usually, it's very hard for companies to let you out. If I'm billing, it's really hard to take you out for you to learn, because it
Right.
means I'm not billing you. You're basically on, at the office, on the bench. You're basically out, and I'm paying money for you to exist over here with me. It'd be nice if you were billing. Now imagine that someone's paying you to actually go out and train. That, I think, is innovative. I think they're going to get a lot of let's just say, ROI on that is what
Yes.
it's the best I can call it.
Big
Will other
return.
people follow the thing? I'm sure others are looking at what might happen there. I said I'm not sure if it's public. That's why I'm going to mention it's just one of those cloud partners up there. You can probably pick from the few that are out there who might be have that kind of power to do it. And
Well, I mean,
I try
one
to be
thing I
very
would
very
say,
careful to say it could be my favorite person, it could be my
yeah.
semi favorite person, but hey, they're
Well, I
doing it.
mean, if you look at the partners, Rackspace is losing money. They lost money, but they also could be doing it, because they want to get back in with the cloud people.
That's
I
right.
mean, there's a lot of different players in the market that you don't think about. We think about the top three, but Oracle has a cloud. IBM,
That's right.
you know, goodness,
Actually,
IBM's got their own
this
cloud.
would be in the top six. I was just saying.
Yeah, yeah. IBM's got a cloud. Oracle's got a cloud. SAP counts as a cloud provider,
Sure
um,
enough.
because you can do things with them. So yeah, it's
It could be one
anyway.
of those. It could be one of those,
Could
but
be one of
it's a
those.
very very interesting
That's a
thing to get into. So you want to ask is like, what at least what are the incentives? Like, do they give you time, or are you supposed to take your time? Now, if you're a contractor, you can't really say anything. If you're an
yep.
independent
No,
contractor, so pretty much your time is your time. You made the time. You're billing essentially to pay for that. Right,
right.
your own marketing dollars. You're taking out your own taxes. You're doing all that stuff on your own. Well, that's the breaks when you get there. However, if it's full time, eh, I mean, even if it's with a regular corporation, I've been finding that even non-tech companies are doing bennies similar to that.
Yes.
And I've seen it already now. In actually, I think that's the good thing about being at where I'm working. I get to actually see that there's actual more things going out there. Sometimes you'll hear rumors or something, or you'll hear it in the news article. I actually run into the companies that are actually doing it. So, and when I look at that, I'm like, wow, this is it's actually true. There, I don't feel so cynical so much on a lot of these companies anymore because there's truly I'm seeing that there seems to be that the case of like when especially when you have a large enough company there should be, unless it's a conspiracy of like hundreds of thousands that are like going to
Right.
treat you mean, there's going to be most people than not going to want to do the nice thing, try to help out, try to be helpful, try to do the most of what they can, try to be the best at what
Well,
they're doing. That tends to be the trend for me.
and so many of these companies, the different service providers, let's say like O'Reilly and Udemy and Pluralsight, and they really come around to the idea of having a corporate account and
Right.
and reducing the cost so that it's not an individual, because they want to show that you know that they can be a partner rather
Yes.
than just being a resource that someone has to individually own and by themselves. So
That's right.
yeah.
So just thoughts to play out there. It's like so there's companies that actually mean what they say. They're doing what they say. Look for those, and some folks if they can be truthful and say, well, we'd love to, but we sort of can't. But we need your help for us to get to that level.
Yes.
That's all part of it. It's like how much are they going to make you part of it?
Yeah.
So
Well, I've got a peer that's wanting to get into cloud. That I've got a 20-minute sit down with him on Monday.
huh.
He's like it's his third year working for the company I work for, but he's been mainly on-prem kind of things, and he wants to get into the cloud. So we're going to talk about what his experience is, what he wants to do. I'm Ralph. Did we talk before about the fact that I'm programming in Java right now?
Yes. Yes.
Gosh.
We went into that. It's like you're like,
Oh, oh,
yes, that was the
so
topic.
bad, so bad. But I mean,
Uh,
we've got to go where the
well,
problems are.
that's
That's the
true.
key.
So, I mean, here's the thing though. The idea is like, even if you're programming in a specific thing that's a little painful, the whole
Yes,
point is to try to get past it as soon as you can. Create your
yes.
patterns, create your components. So all you're doing is configuring, right?
Well, and what we're and it's the programming language is the implementation. We're all about solving problems at this point.
Right,
The implementation is less of a concern. You just look up how to, well, what's the syntax for this?
right.
Uh, but it's the solving of the problem that's really the hard part. That's the fun part too. So
Yes,
I
that's
don't
true.
mind.
It's like it might take you longer or some way, or it may come out a different
Uh,
way, or it's like, oh,
yes.
well, we tried it this particular pattern, but it doesn't work, say, in this particular language to do it with that pattern. It's like, well, then you have to do a different. So you have to solve a different problem. But
Yes.
hopefully, if what do we would domain? What was
Oh,
it?
I've got it here.
Domain
Yeah.
thinking. The domain
Yes.
thinking, when you do things at that level, the problem that you have to solve, at least on the implementation side, becomes small. All
Yes.
right. You solve the problem as in the big area so that you can isolate the little piece that needs to go. What do I mean to do that? You need this button to work. Okay.
Yes, I can come up with the pattern and I'll implement something, and I've got a peer that's doing code reviews for me,
Yes.
to make sure that I'm not, double tapping my foot.
Right.
Um, but it's a lot of fun. It's interesting.
Yes.
Setting up once you get the environment set up, things are not that bad. But low code, I mean, I've got a buddy that I get a report every morning that's a spreadsheet of an extract that he did using low code.
Oh, really?
And it's yes, yeah, and it's beautiful. It's just exceptions. It's not just a dump of data. He's actually got some processing going on, and it's all done through low code.
There we
And
go.
he is a PM BA kind of guy, not a
There we go.
not a
But he
uh, a
knows
tech
what, how do
person.
we say it? The case of, I know what success looks like. I know what I want. I know what
Yes.
good looks like. I know what the output should be. If you have an idea what that has, and then you can get there. Now you can say, I'd like to draw like the Mona Lisa. Well, that is a
Mm.
lot more complicated, because what you're doing there is you're looking at all those nuances. However, I'd like to get a picture and I'd like it to make it look great in my refrigerator. Okay, there's less to
That's
figure out. You can low
that's
code
something
your
we
way
can do.
there.
Yeah.
You can actually
Well,
low code your way there.
and the thing is, I mean, if you can, I hate to say it, but if you can do Excel, right? If you can do a spreadsheet at all, you can low code.
That's true.
The barrier to entry for that is so low that don't let fear keep you from succeeding.
Sure enough. I think we had
Uh,
an episode where I went through and I quickly put something together.
Yeah.
You can actually take a look at that. Well, there's lots of examples of how people, like, in short order, put something in. And then all of a sudden, my favorite, so you'll watch those like, hey, really low code. And all of a sudden they start diving deeper and you're like, whoa, that's not low code anymore.
That's not
It
low.
looks like it looks like you have to sort of know where to find the pieces. The only problem, my problem with the low code pieces is not so much that it's fast to be able to put it together, but in a lot of cases, they rely on you knowing where the stuff is to find it. Where is the cheese
Yes.
that you need to make the sandwich? If no one told you where the cheese is, how are you going to make the sandwich together? I know I need cheese for this sandwich. Well, if the cheese was immediately visible there, and you know it's that kind of cheese will go good with this kind of bread, and it tells you as you're selecting it, don't choose that cheese. You're going to hate it. It's a Limburger. That's no good. It gives you like
Yeah.
a little like a little reaction as you're picking it. If that's the case, that's then great. But in a lot of cases, no, it's not that. It's low code. It's yeah, but and someone will say, oh, it's only one click away. Well, maybe if you practice, you would have known it was
Yeah.
like
Which
on this
click?
menu. Which click?
Wh-
What menu is it under? I was like, well,
Exactly.
I shouldn't have to go and try to determine what's your criteria for where what menu should go under. I mean, we all maybe know file open because that sounds familiar to most everyone, but not everyone knows where to go, like edit, format, number or something. It's like, where would that go?
Yeah.
Maybe an edit menu?
Well,
Would
and
it,
it's not discoverable,
no,
right? It's
exactly.
it's it's something that you have to just search for. Yeah, no, I'm using not to drop names or anything like that, but
Yes.
I don't have Visual Studio anymore.
Oh,
I'm not currently under, for the first time in a decade or more.
oh dear. Whoa.
I don't have an MSDN associated with my name anymore.
Oh,
So
oh
I'm
no.
using. I know it. I know it. I'm using Writer. And I do have an IntelliJ. I told you I'm programming in Java, right?
Writer, is that what a writer, like a Y?
Yeah, JetBrains has
JetBrains.
has yeah, JetBrains is a company that does Writer as an IDE. It's a
Uh-huh.
cross-platform .NET IDE. So
Here it
I'm
is.
playing with that, using it because I've been using IntelliJ is the JetBrains version of or
Oh, oh dear.
it's
Check it out.
yeah, yeah. And it's, it's similar, but it's not the same. And so all of my keystrokes, speaking of cheese, they've moved all of my cheese. I'm having to figure out how to do certain things because the keystrokes that I've used for over 10 years are no longer the same.
Are
That's
no
okay.
longer the same. That's yeah. So that's the part that hurts me. It's why I
Yeah,
liked about Visual Studio Code. It was like a lot of the things that I
exactly.
remember is still there to get going. And then when people would build the extensions, they would follow. They weren't
They
forced
would
to follow the
follow.
rules, but they
Right.
would, for the most part, tend to follow the rules,
Yeah,
right, and not
exactly.
try to do something weird or something. So that was a big difference.
Hmm.
So so it's a .NET IDE. So you just by the way, folks, as a reminder, .NET that came from where else? Microsoft originally, right? But
Yeah, it
here it
came from
is. That
Microsoft.
.NET is so wide open that someone else can come up with their own IDE on it and apparently be successful with it.
Right.
Clearly,
Integrated
this is
development
successful.
environment. Yes. And JetBrains has been around for a long time. I've
That's true.
known JetBrains. They had a plugin or have a plugin for Visual Studio,
Yep.
an extension, ReSharper. Always, I'll plug that
ReSharper.
because I've used that a lot. Um,
Yes.
so, but yeah, it's it's interesting. It's fun. There's a lot of different things out there.
So you're
So
doing Java with this though, or is this still
no,
C
no,
sharp?
I'm doing .NET. That I am
Oh,
doing.
.NET.
I've got some
So
.NET
you're C
stuff on my
sharping.
side. I'm
You're
C
C
sharp
sharping
still,
it. Okay.
but I've got IntelliJ is the Java IDE that I'm using on the project.
Oh.
No, the .NET is for me. I still have to
Ah.
play. I have to play.
IntelliJ.
Yeah.
Hold on a
Or if
second.
you just go to JetBrains, drop there, go to there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, there you got it. There it is. Yeah.
So the same company
Yes. Same company.
coming up. Kotlin,
Hmm.
Java and Kotlin. There we go. And it looks, hey, that at least it looks similar
It is. It is
to
the
the other
exact
thing.
same.
It's
Yeah.
exact same. All right. But this
And
is
so
not
the
.NET based. This is
keystrokes.
more on these libraries, Java and
Yeah.
Kotlin.
Yeah. So, but it's got the same kind of IntelliSense and things that you know code completion. So one of the reasons that I'm using Writer is to help me with my IntelliJ because I know in C sharp what I want to do, and in Java there's some things that yeah takes me a minute.
There we go.
Fun though.
And so you looks like you can just get. Is this open source here?
No,
Oh,
there
it's
is
a
a
free.
there
It's
is
a
a
trial.
community.
So there is a
Yeah,
cost. Ah,
there is a
I see.
community version, but
Here we go. This one.
it is a pay one.
There we go. Something
Pay
to
one.
try out.
Yep, give it a shot.
Very interesting. Give it a shot, as they say, huh? Okay. Otherwise, what's the pricing look like? Probably similar to other IDs. Yeah,
Yes.
it's pretty close. Actually, MSDN is a lot more than this. I do
Well,
know that
so
for a fact.
so the
Retail, at least.
MSDN, if you go in and look at their store, they've actually got a and what I've got through IntelliJ or through JetBrains is their developer pack, which is more like what the MSDN is.
Hmm.
So it's
Yes,
not just the IDE. You could buy Visual Studio for not much more than that, just straight Visual Studio.
right. Oh, look at
Um,
this. Teachers and students, free, 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 free. Developer
yes,
recognition program. Makes
yes.
sense. Free, free, free.
There's a lot of ways to get it free. They're a big supporter of open source. Um, yeah,
Let's go
but
see
if
what
you
MSDN looks like today.
mhm.
This is MSDN, or is this? Oh, this is with the credit. Start free, pay as you go. So really, they tied it into Azure big time.
Right. But
That
see, that's not what we're
this is
after.
this is not what we're after. Hold on a second. This is just Azure that you get with MSDN. Visual Studio subscriptions is probably. Oh, well, here's MSDN itself. There we go. That's not good. All the way down in the search results. Should have been up top. All right, stand
Yes.
by. Coming, coming, coming. Shh, it's thinking hard. I'm wondering if it's not happy because I have MSDN where I'm at right now. Ooh, looky look. It didn't go
Hmm.
there. Might be blocked. Oh, just curious. Will it even go there? Hey, does it work for you?
Um, Hang on,
Out of
let me look.
curiosity, because it might be. I might be
Maybe your
blocked.
network's down.
Did not
Wait,
work.
you couldn't hear me if you, yeah, well, okay, yeah.
Because here's
I
where
know.
when I take my MSDN at Microsoft.com, it takes me here to learn. Well,
Yes, but that's not what we
okay.
want.
It's all fine and well, but
They
that's not
do.
what I want. Exactly. Why did it go there?
Um, you've got to look under Visual Studio. That's our guy.
That's true. Well, let me see first if this suddenly works. Oh, see that? It's trying to log me in
Yeah. So,
because it took me now to my Visual Studio subscriptions. Here we go. Make sure that it's so here's
here you
my
go.
MSDN. That's why it brought me here to because I already have it. It's
Right.
signing me in and going over here
But if
and
you look,
showing the subscriptions.
yeah, if you look at what I just dropped you there, so here is uh, the equivalent, right? This
All
is
right.
the,
Oh, thanks for the static. Yeah, that helps. Here we go. Buy it. There we go.
yeah, buy Visual Studio. Professional subscription is $45 a month. The enterprise subscription is 250 a month.
So 250 a month. Think about that times 12.
Yes.
Smack. That is not, and that's on the monthly. Well, they have a standard and there's licensing options over here
Right.
and the enterprise
Well,
subscriptions. I wonder if it takes me there. Yes, it does. And as they say, it's not giving you the actual prices purchase. Maybe it does. Let's see. For consumers, for enterprises. Let's
yes.
just go for enterprises and see. Okay, it's just the agreement. It's just giving you here the terms, but it's not giving any pricing because it's the case of like if you're doing any of these, you're gonna have to.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, on the other side of that, if you are running a business right now and you are doing anything with Azure and you're not currently a Microsoft partner,
Right.
you ought to be shot. I mean,
Yeah,
the
that's
Microsoft will give you MSDN licenses, will give you a lot of this if you just
yes.
ask and if you just, you know,
This is true.
uh, really it
They,
is
they're they're
almost
they're all about adoption in a lot of the cases.
yes,
They'd rather make it easy for. I mean, this was the case if I recall a long time ago. You know what the difference for me and Excel, way back when, and Lotus was that the Excel disk was not write protected. It felt like I could copy that. It's like, ooh,
yes,
that's not good. Then aren't you like, well, eventually they're going to come and do an audit on you. They might find it. However, the Lotus one was absolutely protected,
yes.
very, very tight. And it had, for its time, pretty tight enough security that you only could use it in the one place by the one person and all that area. And they made it so that was the case. But because it was so tight, the Excel
There were
proliferated.
times, yeah, there were times that it wouldn't install,
Exactly.
even
It,
if you
it
had the license.
proliferated.
So
It
yeah.
proliferated. I'm just going
All
to
right.
add this
So
one link that you gave me over here today. Speaking of
oh
calculating and doing is using your math and using
yes,
computer technology to create stuff from Chicago, the Bean,
yes,
which is actually, and this was interesting because we were at a Cloud Talk show.
yes. It's CloudGate.
That's the
And
actual
see,
name of the Bean.
that sounds though like too much like Watergate to me. I'm
Well, it
sorry.
sounds like CloudGate, like someone did something
Someone
nasty,
did something
and
bad.
like
Yeah.
scammed somebody and like got into the cloud or something. It's like CloudGate. Yes,
Yes.
who did
Yes.
that? Who's
Mm,
responsible for CloudGate?
mm.
Right. So the Bean, of course, is what everyone calls it over here because in Chicago we're not going to intellectualize things.
Yeah.
It looks like a bean. It's the Bean. Who's going to look at
It's
that and
gonna
say
be.
CloudGate? It's like it's a gate in the cloud.
It's a
What?
gateway to the clouds. I
It's
don't know.
like I don't know.
Pretty cool.
I don't even see the clouds there. I see me. looking like a funhouse mirror when I'm walking through there. So
Yeah,
that's actually interesting. Oh, I'm going to give you one more thing that's been happening. I'm not sure if you're watching
sure.
on the social media pieces, but because now we can do our site, our YouTube slash at Cloud Talk Show,
Yes,
it's
sir.
actually much easier to give that link out now
Ah, very cool.
because it's I can memorize it. So if I'm social mediating something and I go https youtube.com slash at Cloud Talk Show, it's fast. I
It
can
is.
talk it out. Anyone can like type in YouTube and go at Cloud Talk Show. You're at our site quickly. So
Yes.
I somebody asked recently. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think I copied you on it on the bird one, where someone said, "Hey, I'm looking for podcasts that are out there, that are in cloud because he's a cloud architect." It's like, how about the Cloud Talk Show? And I said,
There
"Great,
you go.
thanks." And then it started passing along. It's like, well, it was easy because I could do at Cloud Talk
At
Show,
Cloud Talk Show. Yes.
right? And this is before anyone else who probably had the real rights for the true Cloud Talk Show took it, right? I get that would have been ACs and those guys when before they stopped. I'm sure there's new versions of what's going on, but I thought that was a great idea. So just sticking on the cloud stuff, that was making things easy like that is a great idea. The aka.ms that Microsoft has is great for the Microsoft stuff. It's nice that
Yes.
they're actually doing it wherein you can actually ask for this in for regular. I mean, if LinkedIn and my name, for example, as opposed to LinkedIn
Yes.
Ralph.Rivas dash number, right?
Yes. That's it doesn't work. I mean,
It doesn't
it's
it's
it's like we were talking about before, accessibility, right? I mean, hey, I know that it's only one click away, but if it's not discoverable, if it's not accessible, if it's not
exactly
visible, if no one knows it's there, and that's what this is doing. This is helping lower that barrier to entry. So that's cool.
exactly. So I like this one
Right.
because speaking of knowing things are there, this is the case of like you'll always know it's here. It's great in the winter and everything
Yeah.
else. I'm not sure if Raquel knows this is called CloudGate. Now she has something to tell her friends. Hey, that
There
thing
we
over
go.
there, that's not the beam, that's CloudGate. And everyone's gonna look at her like, "Er, what? What? The
All
CloudGate?
right.
What? It's all the
Well,
fun stuff."
guys, I think we're getting near the end of our time.
Yes, we are.
So
Let's see. Oh, so Raquel has
yeah,
noticed said I do. Hold
yes,
on. I do. She's not talking to somebody else. I hope. All right, we'll take that.
that's a different.
Careful,
That's a different comment.
careful, Raquel.
Anyway,
Think twice.
we
That's all,
are
all
we
we
are
say.
we're in our new year. It's
Yes,
great to see everyone again, and starting off strong here.
starting off
Um,
strong, nice and easy. Also, and we're going to try to get some guests. There won't be a show next week because I'm actually on the. I told you I'm going to North Carolina next week. I'm on my way
yes,
back from North Carolina on the time we should be broadcasting. So no show next week. The show
next no
following
show next week.
the
The
following
following
week
week,
over here. So our cadence has been every other week lately,
yeah, that's
sort
not
of.
bad.
So it's not so bad. It'd be interesting if we can go weekly, but I'm also like lining up the guests. We're lining up the
Yes.
guests. We almost had
Well,
one. We almost had one today, actually. But
one thing that we could do, and maybe we'll talk about this
yeah,
is have something that's not at this time frame, right? If we
that's
if we
true.
move to like a Tuesday or Thursday, every other week we have a Friday and then a Tuesday or a Friday and then a Thursday. That might help free some things up too.
That might free some things up. Of course, as they say, when folks are used to seeing something at a certain time, a certain place, it's much easier for them to like prepare
Block it.
instead.
Yeah.
What we need like more like a maybe like an ICS invite or something. We put it up there on the. I wonder if that can be done. That can't exactly be done on YouTube, but that can be done on when you get a chance to do the website. That might be a good
Yes.
idea. Hey, get on our mailing
Here's a
list, subscribe.
absolutely. And someone out there I know has a um,
You know what we could potentially do is we could have live audience. You want to be in our live talk show? Come click on the link and join
mm,
the team site and the
mm,
audience.
mm.
Huh.
All right. Well,
All right,
anyway.
we're brainstorming. There's an idea. Okay, Raquel is like, what? Then I have
Yeah.
to figure out get all their pictures in. We'll figure it
No,
out. We'll
we'll
work
work
it
on
out.
it.
All
All
right.
right. Well,
Sounds
thanks
like a
everyone.
plan.
Thanks for joining.
Yes, it's a
We'll
pleasure once again. And Raquel, you can like pull us out.